This video is only meant for educational and entertainment purposes, and I will not be responsible for any of the actions that you take or the consequences that you face. Hello, people. This is Abhi, and it's day 12. Yet another day. There's a lot of change in me again. Well, now that I'm kind of out of topics to talk about, I will just randomly talk about anything that comes up in my mind. Well, yes, it's kind of tough, to be honest, to speak about something flawlessly without putting much of conscious effort. But it's something anyone can cultivate, that's for sure. The thing that my voice would reach anyone who's watching it, someone unknown, it's kind of, withholding that sense of being freely able to express yourself, oneself, I mean, myself, to be honest. So, what shall we talk about? Well, have you ever experienced this? That you see someone going through some kind of situation and being able to put yourself in their shoes, like gravely experiencing what they are going through. I mean, you can imagine how it would feel like. But again, of course, you wouldn't have any idea what really happened. You can only imagine from what you previously come across, previously presumed notions that you would have for any situation. Well, right now I just feel like going with the flow of time or whatever. I'm just doing things for the purpose that I'm doing it for my future. Well, of course, it's very important from the perspective of surviving. I don't know. I think it's kind of hindering that I'm not really satisfied with what I'm doing. I mean, anything in that case, because you tend to forget. I mean, although yes, you would have memories, but you would forget, and you can't really replenish that experience once again. And one day you're just going to die. It's kind of bothering, but not really. I can accept that's the way it is. There is so much we do unconsciously than what we think we do consciously. Imagine, now that we know a lot of biology, we understand that what makes us is mostly these organic compounds in us, the cells, the fundamental skeletal structures, everything that's kind of non-conscious, as we can say. How is this building up to make me think? or make me feel conscious? Well, I do know that it's all in my brain, but we discuss about brain as if it has its own functioning, and you can't really embed consciousness into it. Why do you feel the way you do? You can express it in psychology or whatever it is, but I still I'm not satisfied. I don't know. Maybe I think I have to look into spirituality now. I don't know. I've been watching Shwetab Gangwar, Prakar ke Pravachan mostly. I mean, it's definitely pop philosophy. His content is great. His content is in such a level that will make you think whatever he says is true. But yes, you have to have your own critical reasoning or else dubega. So yeah, so something else that I came to notice is that first when I started uploading the videos, you could check them out. I was really enthusiastic and kind of had that flow of delivering whatever I can. But then later on, as time passed by, that's somewhere around 2-3 days after continuously watching Prakar ke Pravachan and Shweta and whatnot, all of a sudden that flow in the English language was cut, and all of a sudden I started to think in Hindi. I just have no idea how it started to work that way. I mean, just because I wasn't speaking to anyone, I was just speaking to myself and listening to things. Somehow started with Hindi. It's strange. So yes, I think I have to experiment a little on how it works, because before I started watching them, I mean, I was into English a lot. I mean, the podcasts, philosophy lectures, books, whatnot. And all of a sudden, when I changed my media to native language, that's Hindi, and I started to think that all of a sudden, like, my I mean, the way I think is mostly through English, right? And not the way I think, the language in which I do. But then all of a sudden I started thinking Hindi. It was very surprising for me. How is this all of a sudden I'm starting to think in Hindi? So yes, I'd have to experiment a little bit. Let me surround myself with English for the next week. Let me see if I could get back that flow I had previously. Well, that's it. The universe is large, man. That's one thing we can accept. It's just too huge to understand. And yes, so I mean, it's just a tiny amount of information that we have. But of course, everything is all made up by the brain. Whatever you think, whatever you do, it's all the brain. But you can't really say who's the brain, because you have no control of what's happening in your head. It's crazy. Are there any of you debate thinkers out there? If you do, do comment down and check me out on Instagram probably. Although yes, I have been dieting of social media. Not even dieting, like just taking a glance. Maybe once in a week, twice in a week, just to check on um, some of my texts probably. Otherwise, I pretty much am not active on Instagram. The username will be given in the description. You can text me if you do like any of my content that is based on thinking and etc. I once had this friend who's a theist. Um, they said I do have some kind of spiritual power, power of thinking that's vividly, you know, uh, clear to them. And yeah, we'll see how what it really means maybe in the future. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Not that I really spoke much, but let me tell you one thing. I love maths. If the future me is watching this, dude, you know how much I used to love math. I mean, you know it. Math is just oof. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, and I will see you in the next.